I begged my boyfriend to stop gaming for one night. He still refused to.
Please, come back to bed. No more Call of Duty.
My 29 female fiance, 30 male, has been gaming since he got home from work 8 hours ago. This is a normal occurrence. I went down and nicely asked him if he would come hang out before bed so we could have some time together. He said he just wants to game tonight. By the way, this comes from Libby Mew. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we are here to give some good advice, goofily. But we do not have all of the answers. We'd only tell you what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do down in the comments. I'm tired of being put last in my relationship. I do everything for him and put him first. I think I'm ready to leave, but feel like I've wasted the past 6 years of my life. What do I do? And there's some relevant comments.
Never mind, it's very short.
Don't waste more. Don't waste more. Get out of the relationship.
Alex Carino says, sit him down and have a full-on conversation with him with what you need from him.
Yes.
Oh, well, yes. That first. That first.
Duh.
That's what I did with my ex when I gave him the ultimatum.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't work.
Well, I mean, it did. It did work. You guys broke up.
That's true.
That's what needed to happen.
Yeah.
If he's not willing to compromise, then move on. But I'd recommend trying one last time before calling it quits. Let him know what's at stake before you leave. But then if it doesn't work, make sure you really leave. 6 years is a long time, but we all deserve happiness. OP responds, I've had this conversation with him 3 times this week. It's like he lives on a different planet from reality. He doesn't realize how excessive it really is. He said he had plans tomorrow for us, but he always says that, and usually it means he might hang with me for an hour. Alex Carino responds, have you spoken to him about the amount of time he spends playing versus you and why it's a problem? OP responds, I have explained how I need a life partner, not someone I see every 8 hours for a few minutes. I explained he spends 90% of his free time gaming and only 10% with me. He said he needs his time alone. I said, do you really need 8 to 12 hours away from your relationship and gaming online?
Yikes.
Why are you in a relationship then?
True.
Oh, there's an update 5 years later.
What? Let's see if she stayed in this relationship and then she's asking us 5 years later. Have I wasted another 11 years?
I, 34 female, feel like I'm losing my grip on reality right now and genuinely need outside perspective because I can't tell if I'm being dramatic or if this is actually insane.
Well, she didn't break up with this
Dang
dumbass.
it.
No, instead she had a baby. I have a 15-month-old son. He was a horrible sleeper for the first year of his life, waking every 1 to 2 hours every night. I've been chronically ill since I was 16, and I'm a light sleeper, like a really light sleeper. So at this point, I'm basically running on the kind of energy toddlers get from a single goldfish cracker. My mom is an amazing grandmother and helps whenever she can, but she had never taken him overnight at her house without me because he just didn't sleep well enough for her to feel comfortable. 2 months ago, he finally started sleeping through the night consistently, and this weekend is the first time she felt confident enough to offer a full overnight so I could actually rest. When she heard I had a friends miss, something fun but still low-key enough that I'd be home and in bed at a decent time, she offered to take him so I could finally sleep in my own bed without a monitor, without breastfeeding, and without being woken up at 7 a.m. or earlier like I have been every day for 15 months. Honestly, it felt like she was gifting me a national holiday. Aw! I cannot stress this enough. This night was supposed to be my one tiny miracle. Like I was mentally preparing myself to cry happy tears into my pillow at 10 p.m. Last week was heck too. My son had a hand, foot, and mouth and an ear infection. If you know, you know. I also just started back at work part-time, so naturally every time I tried to rest or nap to manage my chronic illness, my partner, 36 male, accidentally fell asleep on the couch while I held our sick baby. Truly an impressive demonstration of his commitment to the Olympic sport of strategic napping. And on top of that, my partner games every single night after our son goes to bed. Every night, 4 to 6 hours, to the point where I'm pretty sure the PlayStation and computer consider him an essential employee. I've tried everything to cope. A noise machine, AC blasting like I'm trying to recreate the North Pole, a fan that sounds like a jet engine, but I still hear the chairs squeaking, the doors opening, the excited headset commentary, and the light show under the door that makes my hallway look like a budget nightclub.
Oh my goodness. See, I thought the issue was going to be like, oh, he's not helping out. He's also making it so you can't sleep either.
If I'm being blunt, I do think he is gaming too much, or at least a loyalty to the final boss that I wish he had towards his actual family. So for this one night, I asked him ahead of time and multiple times, when I come home from Friendsmas, can you please turn off the game so I can have one peaceful night of sleep? You can game all you want before I get home. And if you don't think you can do that, maybe go hang with a friend so you're not bored. He agreed multiple times, cheerfully, like I was asking him to pass the salt, not temporarily pause his relationship with his virtual destiny. I went to Friendsmas, had fun, ate snacks, and walked in the door at 11:45 p.m. Yes, later than my plan, but I was DDing my brother and honestly thought giving my partner a few extra hours gaming would be a nice gesture. He'd been feeling off since Monday and was worried he might be getting hand, foot, mouth. So I went by myself. I even brought him snickerdoodle cookies because I felt bad he couldn't come. Like a thoughtful idiot, apparently. He was gaming when I got home, which was fine. I didn't say anything immediately. I got into comfy clothes, washed my face, and mentally said goodbye to consciousness. About 15 to 20 minutes later, I gently said, hey, I'm getting ready for bed. Do you mind wrapping up soon? He immediately acted like I had unplugged his light support.
Okay.
You always get your way! Oh my god. Okay, story time. I need your help. My mother-in-law just crashed my bachelorette party and now I have absolutely nothing to do on May 23rd.
Well, I've got just the thing. Go to okop.show and get tickets for our first live show for you and your girls.
I don't know, it kind of sounds boring.
Do you think watching people's real problems get fixed in front of a live audience is boring?
Wait, actually, no. That sounds like an incredible girls' night.
That's what I thought. So come see OK Storytime live on May 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Stray Theater for $20 and leave your mother-in-law at home.
What? I finally got into this game.
Why are you acting like a child?
I'm on the last mission. You ruined every game ending I've ever had. Side note. I do not possess psychic abilities to sense when he's about to defeat the digital Dragon King. If I did, I wouldn't be living like this. I asked how long the last mission would take and he said he didn't know. Honestly, if it had been 15 to 20 minutes, I would have happily scrolled TikTok until he wrapped it up. But the last time he said, I don't know, I heard his chair squeaking at 3 a.m. So forgive me for not feeling reassured. I reminded him that this was the one night my mom had our toddler overnight. The night I had been genuinely looking forward to for so long. I told him I wouldn't get another chance like this again for a long time. Just 3 days earlier, after I fainted Wednesday morning, my mom had taken me and the baby to her house because he was too sick to care for the baby alone, and he actually got a full night without the baby then. But this was my night. The one night I desperately needed sleep. The one night we clearly agreed on. I told him he could finish the mission tomorrow. He gets gaming time every night, but I couldn't just magically schedule another baby-free night whenever I wanted. This was it. He told me to put a towel under the door. Yes, a towel. As if this was Hogwarts and fabric could cancel sound, light, ADHD fidgeting, chair acrobatics, and whatever ritualistic slamming he does while gaming.
He's slamming?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He's a full-time gamer. This man is screaming. This man
Yeah.
is going, F you! This man
this
is
man's going, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? He's
No.
talking to his friends on Discord
Yeah.
while he's doing this.
Keon.
to my left, to my left.
Yeah.
Keon is a full-time gamer. He does not slam.
Yeah, that's because he's Keon. I'm talking about full-time gamers like this guy.
This guy is something else.
The amount of times
Yeah,
that
I
my
know a lot of
brother
full-time
and
gamers.
my cousins would play League of Legends downstairs until like 4 a.m. and you would hear
Yeah.
like, oh my
I
god.
have friends, siblings who are also, like this. And you
Yeah.
just hear them in the distance and you're like, what? Are
Yeah.
they getting hurt?
No, literally.
Yeah.
He told me I was being stupid. Told me to go to my room. Told me I always get a break. Told me I was ruining his night. Told me I should leave him alone because I always get what I want. Meanwhile, I'm standing there shaking like a mom who hasn't slept since 2023 because, well, I am. I went to my room sobbing while the hallway laser light show continued. Again, the exact thing we agreed would not happen. He could have played tomorrow. He plays every night. I don't get nights like this. And unless you're a new mom, you do not understand the religious level of reverence one has for the concept of sleep. This night was my Met Gala, except the theme was silence and uninterrupted REM cycles. After crying in my room, still seeing the lights flashing and hearing him, I went back out again. Eyes swollen, shaking, voice cracking. I said, please, can you please just do this for me? I have been so excited for this night. He looked at me and said, go in your room and leave me alone.
And that's when you leave him.
That's when I just unplugged the computer,
Yeah,
actually.
honestly, at that point, if I'm that tired, I'm like, no.
I'd be like, we agreed on this so long ago. And the fact that you're not honoring it and you don't care about me and you're blatantly disrespecting me always.
We're done.
Guess what? Pull the plug. I'm going to pull the plug
yeah.
on the computer, pull the plug on the relationship.
All the plugs.
Like, straight up, this guy would be eviscerated. The fewer words. You just look at him up and down. You just go, pathetic.
Then, as he aggressively turned off the game, he said, "There, you're getting your way. You should be happy now." Sir, my way did not involve crying for 45 minutes. Thank you very much. I told him, this is not my way. My way would have been a peaceful, quiet night without a 30 to 40 minute fight, without crying, without anxiety, without feeling attacked. The night is already ruined. And yes, full honesty, by the end of this meltdown, after being dismissed, insulted, ignored, and gaslit into questioning my sanity, I snapped a little. I didn't throw anything dangerous or dramatic. I threw the softest things in the room. A blanket and my son's Stitch plushie. Yes, Stitch. As in Ohana means family. But apparently the PlayStation has seniority. It wasn't meant to hurt him, more like a pathetic, exhausted explanation point at the end of a very sad sentence. I'm embarrassed, but I broke. And here I am now asking, am I the a-hole for wanting 8 hours of silence after 15 months of chaos? Or is this actually just what happens when your partner chooses the final boss over basic human decency? There's another update. Update over 2 months since the previous post. First, thank you, truly, for the support, the tough love, and the comments that made me laugh, cringe, and then nod slowly in agreement. Reading my post again months later, I can confidently say I would have left many of the same comments myself. I also want to gently remind people to be kind. When you're inside the situation with your health and your family tangled up in it, the obvious choices aren't always so obvious. So, here's the update.
Boo, it was
Why?
obvious before you made a family.
Yeah.
Boo.
No, it was obvious 11
Own it.
years ago.
Everyone's going to be mad at you. You have to be okay with that.
It was
It's the internet.
Yeah. It was obvious 11 years ago, P.
I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
Do something about it. What are you going to do?
And it was obvious to you, too, because you made a Reddit post.
Yep. So we're all mad.
Well,
But now we're all glad.
We are all mostly glad.
he's gone.
Yes! OP, I'm so proud of you! I want Burger King French toast sticks! And Savannah, if you couldn't hear that, Savannah said, I'm so proud of you!
They heard it.
He officially finished moving out just over a week ago now.
Yes.
Though we've effectively been separated since the end of December.
Nice.
After writing the original post, I had the serious conversation with him before Christmas. The "this is me trying one last time" conversation. I explained that I could never be happy with someone who stayed up all night and functioned like a zombie during the day. That I couldn't be with someone who was okay impacting my sleep and not prioritizing the health of the mother of his child. That I couldn't live in constant anxiety because I was with a man I couldn't depend on. I even tried the hypothetical daughter angle, hoping it would land. He agreed. He said he understood. He said he would change. That he wanted to have a daughter and show her what she deserves. That very night, he stayed up gaming all night like the conversation was optional dialogue you can skip. I decided to set a mental checkpoint and just get through Christmas for my family and my son, hoping something might shift. It didn't. I wasn't myself over the holidays. I didn't feel festive around him. When he sent me a picture of his wish list, all video games, I felt like throwing up. I didn't want to buy gifts the way I normally do. I didn't want to spend money. I was actively scrounging together on someone who deep down didn't seem to care about me the way a partner should. On the exact regular use that ruined my relationship. Yes, he is addicted and acts like a regular user. I will pass away on that hill. To be fair to him, he did buy me a very sentimental gift, a milk ring I had wanted, and he wrote a genuinely nice card. I appreciated it. But even then, I knew I was in finish the level so Christmas isn't ruined mode, not this relationship is going to get better mode. However, like I always have, I was still holding that small glimmer of hope something would shift. We all do. Unfortunately, hope can be just as devastating as it can be powerful. Shortly after the original post, my health completely fell apart and stayed that way for over 2.5 months. Back-to-back infections, multiple rounds of antibiotics, a wisdom tooth infection, now needing surgery.
Oh my God.
Then a cold that turned into a lung infection.
Oh my God, you can't catch a break. Jeez.
Looking back, I think the stress was finally destroying me physically just like it had mentally. It got to the point where lifting my toddler and catching my breath at the same time was genuinely difficult. One afternoon during the lung infection, hours before bedtime, I asked if he could please take our son to daycare the next morning because I physically couldn't. I explained that I had struggled badly the day before and was worried about safely carrying him and driving while that sick. I needed to go get rest so I could get better. He said it wouldn't be a problem. He told me he'd handle it and not to worry. Fast forward to around 3 a.m., I woke up again to the familiar flashing strobe lights and gaming chaos outside my door. I got up to go to the bathroom, already knowing exactly what I'd see, and sure enough, he was still gaming. I expressed concern, reminding him he needed to be up in a few hours to take our son to daycare. He told me to stop pestering him, told me to relax, told me it would be fine, rolling his eyes like my concern was unwarranted and annoying. It always made me feel like I was crazy, like my concern about getting enough sleep so he can properly and safely take care of our son was ridiculous. I see that now, how much it affected me, how much I began to second guess myself. The mind games, even if he didn't mean to do it, he quite honestly thought I had no reason to be nervous. He wouldn't be able to get up, even though it was a repeat pattern. If you played the original game, you already know how this side quest ends. LOL. I woke up in the morning and knew immediately he hadn't gotten up because I would have heard it. He was still asleep. Would not get out of bed. I was sobbing. He would not move. I ended up getting my son ready and driving him to daycare myself, even though I could barely breathe and absolutely should not have been doing it. But I knew I couldn't have taken care of him all day alone. That was my breaking point. I realized I was playing co-op mode with someone who consistently dropped the controller when it mattered most.
All right, enough gaming puns.
I know.
love that you're making gaming puns while you're like actively, this thing is ruining your life.
Yeah.
I'm dropping off my son and then I'm coming home with a bullhorn and going, wake up! We're divorcing.
When I got home, I told him I was done and that he needed to move out. I gave him a date to be out by. His response to that? More gaming. He gamed nightly until 3, 4, 5 a.m., all the way to the day he moved. The moving process went exactly how you'd expect. No planning, missed deadlines, last-minute scrambling, damaged walls, and a lot of playing the victim. I felt bad that he had no one to help him, even though it was his own fault for procrastinating like he tends to do. He hadn't asked anyone for help or booked a truck until the day before, so of course no one was available. He asked me if my brothers would help him. I said he'd have to ask them himself, as I wouldn't put that on them. He did, but they had plans as you'd expect, being he asked the day before, and quite frankly, probably didn't want to help him. It was like he expected me to magically change my mind. Because watching him game for weeks on end, doing exactly what I said I can't be around anymore, was a convincing tactic to winning me back. But I was just done. It's been about a week now. I'm sad for my son, for the family I hoped he had. I'm sad about the prospect that I probably won't ever be pregnant again or have another child. It makes me ache thinking about it and how he could have kids 10 years from now because he is a man and it's different for them. I don't want to fixate on things out of my control, but the loss is real to me and I'm very sad. I don't miss my ex. That's what has shocked me the most. I thought I'd miss the man I'd loved for 11 years, who I threw my time and energy into. I think part of me misses who I thought he was, but I stopped living in a world where loving his potential was enough. I don't miss the noise, the mess, the anxiety, or the constant mental toll of wanting to rely on someone I just knew and how it made me act. I was always in perpetual cleanup mode and I couldn't shut it off anymore. I'm gonna say it's been a week, so yeah, you're not gonna miss him probably right now. Give it like a month or two, then you're gonna be like, I miss having him around. Me. I mean, a week of bliss is nice. The first weekend he was gone, I slept 8 hours straight for the first time in nearly 17 months. I also realized that all those times I thought I was waking up to pee, yeah, I was gaslighting myself. That was my body reacting to flashing lights, chair squeaking, and chaos, not my bladder. Let me tell you, good sleep is a cheat code. I sort of regret throwing the Stitch plushie, not because it hurt anyone, but because I never want my son to see me that dysregulated. I don't want him growing up thinking his mom is angry or miserable all the time. I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm excitable, I'm fun, and I lost that version of myself trying to make this relationship work. That said, it was also the moment I stopped minimizing my feelings. If I hadn't hit that point, I probably wouldn't have put everything down in words. I'm scared about being a single mom with limited income right now, but there's also this unexpected sense of contentment. It's amazing coming home to a clean place exactly the way you left it, not picking up underwear off the living room floor.
The living room floor?
Why was he just changing in the living room?
Strange.
He's like, all right, I'm home.
Take it all off.
Honestly,
I only game naked.
I only game naked. When I would come home from work, because I'd have like my uniform on, immediately my shirt's coming off.
Yeah, but you lived alone.
Well, this was
previously.
when I was living at home. I would wear a bra.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
Not like I just would.
That's what I thought you were implying.
No, I'd wear
Yeah,
a
bra's different.
Yeah, and I'd throw it off. My sister would be like, "Oh, she's home.
She's home.
her uniform's on the
Uniform's
table."
off.
Just knowing what I have to do and knowing I can depend on myself to make it happen. Or my family, my mom, especially when needed. By the way, we need you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left.
Yeah, no final thought. I mean, she's left. That's all I wanted. And
Yeah,
we're there.
thank God. I mean, it only took you 11 years, but
You did it.
woo!
You did it.
Yeah. It's only been a week, I know I'm early in the game, but part of me already feels like I've leveled up. Maybe I didn't defeat the final boss.
Oh my goodness.
But I finally stopped replaying the same level and expecting a different outcome. Like, come on, woman. The game wasn't going to change until I stopped playing it. For the first time in a long time, I feel lighter. I don't know exactly what comes next, but I know this isn't wrong and life isn't supposed to be lived on hard mode all the time, and that's enough for now.
Have you guys seen Suits?
No.
No, I have not.
Okay. For anyone who's seen Suits, you'll know what I'm talking about. This feels like when all of the characters in Suits just start using metaphors and similes all the time. They're like, when the dog comes out, or like when the dog goes home, the dog house, you know, they're just like making up random things. They're like, oh, you better not bite the dog because he'll bite back. It's just all, that's what that feels like. And that's my last thought. And that's the end of the story.
And that's the end of the story, but we have another one coming right up. That was like, I don't know, that story was...
Hard stare. I discovered my husband's birthday gift for me, and I want it returned.
Yeah, not what I asked for. Sorry, pal.
Hi all, it's my birthday tomorrow, and my dear, sweet, very broke husband told me he was getting some parcels today. So to check the name carefully on them, so I don't open anything I'm not meant to. We both have the same initials. By the way, this comes from Rosefly, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Just had an Amazon delivery of said parcels, and one of them had been delivered in the manufacturer's packaging, as Amazon sometimes does now. It's the Mom Cozy Puree Station for filling baby pouches with your homemade baby food. Now, a few things. We have a 13-month-old baby girl, so whilst I still do make her some pureed stuff, it's mostly a sauce or a veg mix to then be put with something else, pasta, etc. But she's also at the stage where she's eating more finger foods and solid items, so I'm using fewer and fewer pureed things. Secondly, I already have an at-home pouch filling station. I got it months ago and have found that I rarely used it anyway. I prefer to freeze her food in the little mold trays, so I have them in cubes. I get these are more for on the go, but honestly, if I'm out with her, I already have my arsenal of go-to snacks in her bag, and I'll try to order something from a menu when we eat out. And not to seem ungrateful, but this just doesn't feel like a gift for me. More like, here's the thing I got you to help you make food for our baby. But it's also 30 pounds, which is a lot for him right now. I don't want this item. It won't get used, and even if it was something I didn't already own a version of, I would prefer to have a gift for me, not for chores or the baby. Honestly, I'm a little let down and feel like an a-hole for that. Would I be the a-hole if I spoke to him about it this evening, as it's clear I know what it is, as the product is right there on the box? And how do I tell him to return it kindly and save his money without seeming ungrateful? He's going through a tough financial spot, won't accept my help financially, and I'm the maid breadwinner at the moment whilst he gets a few things off his plate. I don't need him to get me anything and would rather he didn't increase his financial difficulties just for the sake of getting me something. And we've got some comments. Comments are wondering what he does all dang day if the development of his child and chores to feed them flew right past him. Fairy Babe says she's trying so hard to be considerate when he barely put any thought into it. It really does sound like she's carrying everything, the emotional work, the kid, the money, while still worrying about his feelings. That kind of imbalance wears you down fast. OP says this is true at the moment. I am doing those things, but I know there will be a time in the future when I lean more on him. He's a wonderful, kind man. He hates the position that he's in at the moment. And he's a wonderful father who loves our girl more than life. But yes, I am doing all of that, and it's exhausting. But I love him. He's the person I've chosen to build a life and family with. It's not sustainable, and we've had that conversation. But you'll have to believe me that many external forces have really hindered his finances at the moment. Dutch person said, how would he be able to take care of his child now when you do all of the food prep? He needs to step up now. OP says he would figure it out, and he does take care of her. E.g., this Saturday, we were meeting a bunch of people for lunch for my birthday. Then I'll come home with her. Worst, I stay out, have some drinks, and maybe a little devil's lettuce. And I'm staying at my friend's house, so I didn't need to worry about getting a train home. We'll be fine with her. And next week, I have to make a very rare work trip to London, so he'll need to collect her from nursery and get her fed. She'll live, he'll be able to look in the freezer for prepared food, or he'll make her something. It's just not his natural groove at the moment. He has a lot going on, as do I, and he is very low about how unable to contribute he is. Despite the crazy hours he's working, I put more detail in a separate reply, but he's basically self-employed and has a big money sink of an asset he's trying to do up to sell. So he's working crazy hours, so doesn't get much family time, but all the money made goes back into getting this bloody project done. It's horrible and is a huge impact on our relationship, good time with his daughter, and his mental health. I'm stronger than him in that regards, but it's definitely wearing me down and isn't sustainable. We talk about it a lot, but I support him because I love him and know it won't be forever. We're luckier than most in a lot of ways, but that is predominantly due to my assets. OP says, I would rather he keep the money, to be honest, but I don't think his pride will allow for that. OP says he has no sister, his mother is in her 70s, he has no female friends who are pregnant, and he literally told me things were arriving today for my birthday. He's in a tough financial situation, and this isn't the sort of thing he'd buy for someone else. And we've got an update 2 days later. What do you think happens?
See, I don't know. My original thing was I was gonna go with, he has something else planned, those aren't for her. But now she's like, well, she doesn't have any of this, not a sister, who else could it be for?
Who else could it be for? Well, we got an update 2 days later. Hey everyone, thanks for the comments on my previous post. Although classic Reddit, there were a lot of people who jumped to all sorts of conclusions about my husband, his parenting, and how he feels towards me more broadly. Some big leaps were made. As I mentioned, he's going through quite a bit at the moment and is in a bad place financially. Many people assumed he had no idea how to care for his own child, which couldn't be further from the truth. He's a wonderful, loving father and a wonderful husband. He just dropped the ball on this occasion. I'm sure his situation and some of the things he does or the ways he communicates would annoy and or be a deal breaker for many people. Same goes for some of the things you do or that I do. They would also be deal breakers for any number of other people. Not everyone would accept my situation as good enough for their relationship, and that's fine. I do accept him. Do I sometimes wish he was astronomically wealthy? Sure, but he's not, and I love him anyway. No one is perfect, and I love and support him. We both have a lot going on, but at the moment, I'm the one who's more equipped to hold things up for us both emotionally and financially. That's just how it is at the moment. We're building a life together, and sometimes one partner has to do more to help the other through a rough time. So on to the updates for anyone interested. I decided to text him along the lines of, hi, my love, some parcels arrived for you, but I'm sorry to say one has been delivered in the manufacturer's box, the Mom Cozy Puree station, so I can clearly see what it is. I hate to say this, but I actually got one of these stations months ago and found I didn't really use it for her food and meal prep. And it's in the cupboard. Just wasn't for me. She's moving more away from purees at this age anyway. Feel like a butt, but I think you should return it and save yourself the money. You don't need to get me anything to replace it or anything. XX. And he was fine with that, although I could tell his pride was a little dented. After some discussion, he said he would transfer me the money once he's returned it. I tried to tell him it wasn't necessary, but he told me that money was allocated for me and my gift. And even in his financial situation, he wanted it to go to me. I eventually realized that trying to get him to keep it would be more of an affront to him, so I agreed that once he got a refund, he would send it to me. We had a longer, broader discussion about the item itself, and he gets that it wasn't the best gift. Although he did remind me that I got him one of those toddler seat carriers that goes on an adult's shoulders for his birthday, which is of course, a baby-related item. You know, he's got you there. He has got you there, I will say.
Well, the thing is, once you have a baby, I feel like it's hard to get gifts that aren't related to the baby.
Yes, but also I think I would be a little bit annoyed if, my partner got me a baby-related gift for my birthday. I'd be like, well, I want a book. I want a trip.
My sister-in-law,
clothes.
It's hard to find stuff, she reads, we can get her books or whatever, but she mostly she's a stay-at-home mom, so she just does stuff with the kids. So it's I can get her something to do with the kids, and she would appreciate that because she loves doing activities with them. She's always trying to find new things, they go to music class and go to the library together and stuff like that. So she always tries to do stuff, but it's hard to be that's her identity now is with the kids.
Yeah.
So it's hard to figure out what is she like?
I think the best thing to do when you don't know what to get someone is to ask them.
I mean, yeah,
sometimes
I do.
They don't know.
Asked her.
Sometimes they don't know. And then you ask other people around them. And then you kind of work together and you go on a scavenger hunt to figure out what the heck they want. Although we acknowledged it's not quite the same, I view that as an item used to enhance their experience and enjoyment together. Whereas the puree thing is a way to enhance a chore. I figured arguing semantics on that wasn't really that important. We talked more about our current money position, our future plans, and where we're up to with everything. We still got a slog ahead of us, but it won't be forever. I reminded him that even at the moment, we're a lot better off than many others, and we're so close to being past this rough period. He said he's just tired of feeling backed into this bad financial corner, which I understand, but again, this is temporary. Either way, I had a lovely birthday. My husband also gave me a lovely framed set of 3 photos of our baby at different stages over the last year, along with a couple of other bits. He also took care of childcare on the Friday, so I went for a 2-hour massage and lunch, then spent the afternoon playing an old PC game, Black and White. By the way, you should spend your afternoon listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
You guys had the conversation and, you came to an agreement. No one was like defensive or like, yeah, of course, like when you try to get something for someone and they don't like it, you're going to be upset.
Bummed.
Yeah. It's like, oh, dang it. But they're in that situation. There is a right and wrong reaction. And I think he reacted correctly. Because he could have been like, you weren't supposed to see that. Oh, my God. Like, he could have been really defensive and mean for literally no reason. But instead, he was like, oh, dang it. Well, I'll just give you the money then. And you can get it for something, I think that that's a totally normal response and a right one.
I agree.
Like to, right this wrong of like not knowing what to get her.
And yesterday we met friends for birthday lunch, after which he took the baby home and I stayed out, drank, smoked some devil's lettuce, and crashed out of friends. My husband can look after and feed our child perfectly fine without any help from me. He's our parent, not a babysitter. Everyone making assumptions about him along those lines is just plain wrong. That's fine. It's the internet, and I was expecting a certain amount of snarky Reddit takes, but thank you to everyone who seemed to get that good people can sometimes do dense things. I'm now on the train home to take over baby duties so he can get out to work. I've had a lovely birthday, and I'm looking forward to a day with my baby girl. I love that. And that's the end. Beautiful.
Wow.